Hey everyone, and welcome back to Sikich Live. Thanks for giving us a little break last week. We're going to be back here every Thursday at 2:30 Central Time. That's our only time this year that will be on our LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook pages. Again, that's every Thursday at 2:30 Central Time. Thanks for coming back. This is Sikich Live Salesforce Edition today. We'll have different topics every single week, including ERP, IT managed services, security, CRM, and of course, so much more than that. Before I bring on our returning guest, Cole, to talk about the Salesforce Spring Release 21, don't be shy on Sikich Live. Of course, I say this every single time. If you are in the chat right now, feel free to ask us questions about something that you want to know right now. That's why we're here, and that's why we are live coming to you. So get those questions in there. Hit that like and subscribe button and get all those notifications for when we go live each week. Like I said, Cole is a consultant on our Salesforce team here at Sikich. He's going to be joining me here. Hey, Cole, how are you?
Hey, Michael, good to be back. How are you?
Good, very good. Thanks. Sorry, it's a little bit bright behind me. I have these big windows, so hopefully everybody can see me. But the real center of attention here is you, Cole. So I think that's all that matters. We're going to get started talking a little bit about Salesforce Spring 21 release. Thanks again for being here. So I want to know a little bit about this new release and what the new version of Salesforce that's coming out is.
Yeah. So, well, again, thanks for having me. Good to be back here. Happy New Year. Yeah. So the Spring 21 Salesforce release is just another Salesforce release, right? So it's not a new product, so to say. And I'll dive into that in a little bit. But every year, Salesforce has three major releases, right? Spring, summer, and winter. In those releases, guaranteed product updates, bug fixes, a whole sort of different stuff for along every single cloud that Salesforce has. These are no additional cost to any users or any orgs. And these are really big highlights for a lot of users, especially admins. Every release comes around and the thing I love about Salesforce is the Salesforce users always get really hyped, especially those admins. There's actually a whole group out there called the Release Readiness Trailblazers, where they go on this big treasure hunt to try to find all the new updates and product releases in these kind of 3 times a year releases, I guess you could say.
So we know that the release is called the Spring 21 release, of course, but that's a little bit broad. Do we know exactly when users can expect to upgrade for it to be available?
Yeah, definitely. So, the timing is always kind of strange on these for me because they're such big releases. They're kind of spread out over time. I'd consider right now, winter. I'm up by Chicago, so it's a little cold here. I'm not really thinking about spring yet. But this release kind of started back in the beginning of December where they allowed users to sign up for basically a pre-release org. So, you get special access to a separate org that you can go in and try to look for these new updates, kind of find out what's going on. And then, flash forward to a couple weeks ago, mid-January, it was released for the sandboxes and they released, little teasers in the release notes during this time. But about 5 or 6 days ago, back January 15th, they started rolling out this release. And these releases actually happen over a period of weekends. So they try to, schedule the maintenance around, downtime in the org. So they release them on weekends and it kind of on a rolling basis. So depending on, your certain instance of your org, you might get it sooner or later. But the final release weekend is going to be around February 12th coming up.
So how is the release obtained exactly? Is it hard to download the release, or what's kind of the process for all of that once it is available?
Yeah, so one of my favorite things about Salesforce, right, is it's a service as a software. So, Salesforce provides the whole hosting of the platform. So there's actually no upgrade that you have to do. Everything's behind the scenes. So no heavy, complicated upgrades to your internal servers, and you got to worry about, all these complex integrations you got going on. Salesforce takes care of everything. So behind the scenes, they'll actually roll out those releases on the weekends. And then you basically just log into your org and everything's there. All the new features, all the new product updates. What you might need to do in your sandboxes is just refresh your sandbox so you get the newest version. But other than that, it's very simple, very straightforward, and it's very customer friendly.
And so what exactly comes with this release? Are they just kind of patching bugs or?
Yeah, so there's a little bit of that, right? So users, Salesforce users are very vocal, right? When things don't work, they like to let Salesforce know. So these releases are a time for Salesforce to provide updates, bug fixes, all that. But they also roll out new features and new products along the way. So like I said, it's a giant package, and it's spread across all different types of clouds, not just your sales cloud, but your financial service cloud, your part out, your manufacturing cloud. So all these different clouds and all these different users get provided with not just updates and bug fixes, but also new products and product enhancements as well.
So everyone loves new features, of course. What are some of the ones that stand out to you?
Yeah, so I actually wrote a blog about this, about my 10, highlights, as I do every release, because these are, some of the things I really look forward to from Salesforce. I just think it's, a great thing that they do. So you can check that out in the Sikich Insight page. But, some of my favorite are, they're bringing back manual sharing, right? So any Salesforce Classic users out there that are familiar with the manual sharing, it basically allows users to, manually share individual records and provide, different permissions for users on those records. It's kind of an admin thing, but it's also a front end usability thing, and it's a great user experience. So I'm really glad they're bringing that back to Lightning. Other kind of product, new features, they're coming out with this whole thing called Salesforce Meetings, right? We're all stuck working from home. So Salesforce just acquired Slack, and they're trying to provide additional benefit for their users. So you could kind of think of Salesforce Meetings as two parts. You have this whole meetings digest thing where you could see account information, contact information, opportunity information, basically all that Salesforce data that lives in Salesforce all in one place before your meetings. You can see prior meeting notes, all your call information that you logged on those different accounts, different opportunities, all in one place. And if you take that combined with the new Meeting Studio, which is a way to kind of host meetings within Salesforce and call these accounts and these contacts. So when you combine the Meeting Studio with the Meeting Digest, you basically have one area where you get to see all your client information, your presentations right there. It allows you a ton of different features. I mean, I really suggest people go in and look at this because it's a little in depth to talk about. And I think if people kind of go and look at it, they'll really enjoy it. Now I'll talk about one more thing here too. This is also a big thing because I'm a big fan of, artificial intelligence and learning about it. And Salesforce has their own kind of artificial intelligence platform, right? They call it Einstein. And now Einstein opportunity scoring is coming to those smaller organizations. So before, the way artificial intelligence works, right? In machine learning, it works on data sets. So the more data, the better. But some of these smaller orgs, they don't have a ton of closed opportunities. So when they try to go and score their opportunities, they weren't able to use the Einstein opportunity scoring. But what Salesforce has done is they've developed this basically a global opportunity scoring model that all these smaller orgs can use. So you no longer need over 200 closed opportunities. So that's a big benefit to some of those smaller users and smaller companies out there.
And so how might people find more information about the new releases or new and important features that could be useful to their company?
Yeah, so Salesforce does a terrific job of marketing this stuff. There's teaser videos out there. There's product launch videos that you'll see. So definitely look for those out in Salesforce. And they also release a giant document. They call them their release notes, right? And this is basically a link that you could go in. Salesforce has it. It's completely searchable. You can, break it down by different sections and look through these notes, or you can even download a PDF version. Though it's around 700 pages, so it's kind of a lot to look through. So I recommend using those online release notes that are completely searchable and broken down by those different sections there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great, Cole. This is a pretty short and sweet here. Really wanted to understand what Salesforce Spring Release 21 brings to the table, what companies might find useful for them to use with these new features. And that's really, like you said, the benefit of these cloud models, that these upgrades and updates can happen all through the cloud without too much user interference. So always glad to have that model from Salesforce. Thanks so much for being with us here today, and we will see you next time, hopefully.
Yes, I'm sure I'll be back.
Yeah, you've been a guest a few times for our Salesforce edition, so we really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We appreciate you being here, and we'll be back next Thursday at 2:30 Central Time. See you later. Bye.